What is up, everybody? Keith Jamison, Go Back Get a Guy 231 across the DFS industry, and we have reached the final game week of the EPL season. It has been a crazy season for sure, and we still have a title race. We have a ton of stuff up in the air. We have relegation battle with Burnley and Leeds going head-to-head. We have top of the table battle with Manchester City and Liverpool still competing for the title. And then we have implications on Champions League with Spurs and Arsenal fighting for the fourth spot. And then we have even another battle with Manchester United and West Ham fighting for Europa League spots. So we have a ton of teams and stuff to play for. Very different than in past seasons where you had a lot of teams that were just showing up. I do think there was going to be a ton of rotation and a lot of, young guys and things like that we need to keep an eye on. So I'm going to go into some strategy and then a couple of picks. But just a quick reminder before I do that, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video on the Mayo Media Network. Show some love for all the content on this great channel. And if you are on the pod feed, check out daily fantasy picks and bets and mix. And finally, if you want to see more of my content and my team's content over at Fantasy Sports Insight, check us out on our YouTube page. Routinely some amazing stuff from our team up there you will want to check out. All right, let me, before going into player picks, just kind of talk about strategy and who's playing for what. So we already went over two top teams, Liverpool and City. City wins, they win the title. Liverpool wins and City draws, then Liverpool wins. It's going to be going on. Remember, all these games go on at the same time, so neither team will know. Liverpool will probably be turning off the City result so that they don't, doesn't affect them one way or another. But both teams are close to minus 600 favorites. So we definitely want those pieces. Spurs and Arsenal are competing for the fourth spot. Both teams would need to win. Spurs are minus 400, although we just saw some news that Harry Kane may or may not be fit by Sunday. And Arsenal is minus 278 at home versus an Everton team that might be drunk still. Like if you didn't watch the end, Everton is officially safe with that epic comeback, trying to think of the right word, on Thursday. We've seen some people like the Belgium league, like if they won the league or like avoided relegation, the players go and party hard. Could be the case. So I think that there's a chance that Arsenal could be put an absolute beat down. That's like, I'm not going to be talking about too many Arsenal people. Only one on my list. So let me just say this, like for those that are strategizing big field, I think that's a really, really interesting GPP target. That will have low ownership. So Arsenal is there. You got United and West Ham, both competing for Europa. Those are a lot less of big favorites. The one that is really interesting is the third biggest favorite in the slate that's just barely behind Liverpool. It's like minus 550 is Chelsea. And we don't really know what Chelsea team is going to show up because they're not playing for anything. So, how much rotation is going to happen. And we saw some rotation midweek, with Hakeem Ziyech going off for 21 DK points without a goal or assist. If we see him, we'd love to see something like that. But it'd be really interesting to see the Chelsea lineup, see if they get some young guys, some work, things like that. And then finally, the bottom of the table, Leeds and Burnley will be fighting for their lives, but neither is a big favorite. You have Burnley as a slight home favorite, plus 125, and Leeds is plus 163. All right. So those are the things to be cognizant of. I'll just say one more strategy aspect. 10 games, 20 teams. Ownership will be spread out all over the place. This is an ideal slate in like cash games, head-to-head, even, like if you're just trying to like min cash GPPs. I never recommend that, but if that's kind of your strategy, I just want to cash. This is a slate. Do not chase goals, because if you get them wrong, I just say this, not that you'll get them wrong. A lot of people that are going to chase goals are going to get them wrong. And if you just target the floors, target the set pieces, build those floors up, you're going to surpass so many of those people making big mistakes. I kind of did something similar last year in King of the Pitch and finished, I think it was top 5, 5th or 6th, can't recall. So that's a tournament that a lot of times people are chasing the upside, and just building up the floors could very well get you into good spots, and chasing the value, right? That's the other thing we have to look out for. I'm going to bring up 2 value plays that I do like, that I feel really good are going to start, but we're going to see some other ones pop up. Young kids from the junior team that could take set pieces, really cheap fullbacks. We might have 2,500 to 3,000 fullbacks or wingbacks that are going to cross the ball a ton. All of those things we want to look out for. All right, so let's start at the top of the player picks. Heung-min Son at 11,100, monopoly set pieces for Spurs. I actually think he takes a big hit if we don't see Harry Kane in for Spurs, because that is, his partner in crime, the guy that he is always looking for and is always looking for him. So I actually would almost take Son off the board for me if we don't see Harry Kane. But with Harry Kane in, Tottenham minus 400 favorite, on the road, must-win game, team that's leaking a ton of goals in Norwich. So I do like Son quite a bit. Although that $11,100 price tag is quite tough to fit. Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is a lock and load at 9,500. He's probably the best DFS player in the EPL, probably the best all-around player in the EPL. And he's just underpriced. 9,500 for Kevin De Bruyne is just a lock and load. City must-win game, minus 600. Like, this is not an overthinking situation. I think Kevin De Bruyne is one of the free squares on the slate. Next up is Bukayo Saka. I do not expect to see much ownership from him at all. That being said, I quite like him at 9,000. I already mentioned that Arsenal is one of my favorite GPP teams because Everton has been fighting for their life for weeks, has done an amazing job to stay up. You saw the crowd, you saw the reaction. Everton, I'm sure the guys were out partying and they deserve it. This is true hangover game versus Arsenal, who needs to win badly, needs momentum going into next season. So I really do like Arsenal here. I think Saka has a great chance to score or assist and have, close to double digits and 4 points. Sadio Mane is probably my favorite Liverpool attacker due to price. Salah is questionable, missed out midweek. This is Liverpool's last tune-up before the Champions League final next weekend. There's a shot that what we could end up seeing is like Jota start for Salah and pushing either Diaz out to the right or left. Maybe Mane could go back out to the left where I like him more. But that being said, even if Mane starts central, he's 8,300 for striker, my 600 favorite. If we do not see Salah and you don't see Milner, Mane takes PKs, which would only help him and his floor even improve. So 8,300 for Mane, get you Liverpool attacker exposure I like a lot. Phil Foden, 7,400, very similar type of thought with Mane. It's just almost like too cheap for the talent and for the attacking upside on such a huge favorite on a team we know is going to push, right? City and Liverpool both at home, minus 600 favorites, must wins, all of those things. And look, when I say like must wins, Liverpool and City aren't the type of teams that they get ahead 1 or 2-0 and they just bunker down. Like, both teams win games by controlling the ball and attacking. So 2-0, 3-0 isn't enough. Like, they're going to go for 5-6-0. Like, that's how they dominate games. So Phil Foden, also, if you don't see Mahrez, has a chance to split sets with De Bruyne, which only increases his floor. 7,400 is just too cheap. Liverpool fullbacks, I feel like, are a complete misprice, especially Trent Alexander-Arnold at 6,400. Robertson's at 6,800. We almost always see those pricings inverted. Trent Alexander-Arnold's been a $9,000 player many times. 6,400, I think he is just a free square. Like, I think the first two guys that you put in your lineup are Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kevin De Bruyne. Move from there, probably at the other forward spot, picking, another City or another Liverpool attacker. Gabriel Jesus did not make this list, but was very much on the short list at 7,600. Just preferred Foden slightly to him. João Cancelo is another fullback that's underpriced, 5,800. Just look through his logs. João Cancelo has really, really awesome floor and gives you assist upside for City and scores the occasional goal. Again, you can't really go wrong with a lot of these City or Liverpool attackers. The two value plays in the slate. This one will not get any ownership, but Ashley Barnes, 4,200. He's very much like the emotional leader of Burnley. Hasn't been playing a lot this season, but he does take PKs. Got a PK last week. He's a guy that has scored a lot of goals from them in the past. They desperately need a goal here. This is just like a GPP YOLO shot, kind of a gut feel type of play, but Ashley Barnes, 4,200, gut feel to score. And then Calvin Phillips, I think, is the best outright value play on the slate that I know will start. I reserve the right if Chelsea youngster or, something like that starts. But 3,400, he's been back on set pieces. We're almost stone minimum for England International, taking set pieces. Leeds has to win this game. So 3,400 Calvin Phillips, I expect to be really popular in cash games as a result. All right, that's 10 plays. That's 20 teams, a lot going on. I hope that some of the strategy and those tips help. It's going to be a fun weekend of games to watch, to play DFS. I wish all of those in King of the Pitch a ton of luck. I will be enjoying watching the Game Center and seeing who takes that down. Yeah, there's just a lot of great players in there. It'll be really interesting to see their builds and a good learning experience for those that are learning soccer. Look up those top guys, how they're building their lineups, diversifying, all that good stuff. All right, that'll do it. Thank you all so much for an awesome season. I will be back. One more video for this year, previewing the Champions League final closer to the end of next week. So make sure you're looking out for that. Thank you once again for watching. This is Keith Jamison, aka Gator Guy 231. That'll say, see you.